All right, family. You live with the general. You already know what time it is. We got that fire for you. That's why you're here. You feel what I'm saying? Today we're gonna be talking about a very tragic situation in Toledo where 12 people were shot. You know, just innocent bystanders at a festival. You see, and two ignorant Negroes start shooting at each other and shoot everybody but who they was aiming for. You see? And so this is a very, this is tragic, to be out at a festival where you come out there with your babies, you got babies out there, they out there, having fun and all of a sudden, I mean, I don't know what to say about these niggas, they just say what it is. It's time to purge our community of this filth. It's been past that time to purge the community of this filth. Where you don't have no respect for nothing. You just gonna open fire. And you shoot, nigga. And I got to get clearer as to how in the hell 12 people. I mean, what did you niggas do? Run up into the festival? I got to know. Was they, I thought maybe they was nearby the festival, but the way they, I mean, you shot that many people, you know, you know how they have festivals. You got people inside the festival, and then you got people outside on, it could be the sidewalk that lead up into the festival, things of that nature. And, people park on the outside on the street. So you probably got the people in the park, then you got people outside the park that's on the street, on the sidewalks and things of that nature. And yeah, this was crazy, and I believe the youngest that had gotten shot I think was about 14 years old. Imagine that, you 14 years old and you get shot. This shit is just unheard of. You ain't supposed to never be shot at all. That's a traumatic situation to be shot. But to have a 14-year-old who don't know nothing but video games, going to school, cartoons, things of that nature. And then you end up getting shot. That's crazy. And so the summer is June the 8th, and once summer come in, it get hot and the madness starts to surface. And if it ain't, I mean, we talk about mass shootings. We talk about the mass shootings with the people just show up and shit, and I don't know, but you got to talk about the niggas too, because they no different. That's a mass shoot. And so they don't give a goddamn about how many lives are affected, who is out and about, babies, women, elders, brothers too. It don't make no difference. You just out and about enjoying yourself, enjoying a summer day, and you wind up a casualty. Because niggas out here, they don't know no better way to deal with their situations. And when they do, they just, nigga, you don't need no heat. You don't. You can't shoot, nigga. And I ain't saying people, but you can't shoot, nigga, at all. You're horrible. And when I hope they catch their ass soon, and I hope they get their ass life. You for shooting 12 people? I mean, that's shit. You don't deserve to be out here. They need to put y'all motherfuckers away, both of you. Put y'all ass away. You know what I'm saying? You don't deserve to. You shoot 12 people? Oh, hell no. Nigga, that's life. Put their ass away, man. You know what I'm saying? You a threat. You're a fucking menace to society. You're a fucking menace. Them could have been 12 casualties. Luckily, Well, I hope I think it was I believe I'm hoping that I heard right that everybody is okay. That's what I'm it may have been maybe one or two in critical. You know what I'm saying? One or two that very well may have been in critical. So that means you ain't, that person is not out the danger zone. That you in critical condition, you in the danger zone. And so hopefully that they could recover, without losing their life. But yeah, for 12 shoot, they need to put y'all motherfuckers away forever. You gonna learn today. You gonna learn today. You gonna shoot, children and people just out. Oh no, you got to get that type of shit off. You got to send a message that they're just not gonna be tolerated, at all. Motherfuckers just up and busting and shit and all of that, and you out of you out of area. You in an area where it's a large gathering, and you just shoot. Oh hell no! Get them motherfuckers all the time that they deserve. You know what I'm saying? To affect that many people lives, 12 people, and you just shot these people. I don't know if all 12 were shot, but that's what I heard. Yeah. I believe that's what I heard. Yeah. 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 So anyway, we we really hoping that the peoples recover quickly and and fully. Hope they recover quickly and fully. But it's almost you can't enjoy yourself out here today. You know what I'm saying? You got to be on your motherfucking P's and Q's, stepping out, because any little argument, any little disagreement could lead. I mean, you and you in a mass, a mass setting, mass gathering and shit, and motherfucker get to shooting, and there's people everywhere, and when people just like take off running and shit and just trampling going on, people trying to get somewhere safe and shit, so it's just totally chaotic. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. You had to and you think it's a science to going out, but you don't know when this shit gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? You don't know when it's gonna happen. You trying to have a good damn time, and you can't even. You out here with with family and everything. This ain't even that type of setting. You know what I'm saying? So you thinking you gonna be all right, and then just and as soon as you say that, here comes the anomaly. This ignorant individuals or individuals that come out of nowhere. That's make it where it's just really no way to, they want to trap motherfuckers in the house to where they don't even want to come out, that they don't even want to go and have a good time. And I know people still not gonna let nobody terrorize them to where they not going, want to have a good time. People still gonna want to have a good time, but I mean, but what's the risk? Are you going out, and you got to be on your P's and Q's at all times. You got to be on your P's and Q's at all times. Motherfucker had to damn near go out when there ain't nobody out. And then it'd be some shit then. You know what I'm saying? You had to find when it's quiet. It's one of them, Sunday mornings, one of them, you know what I'm saying? Motherfucker had to wait till the winter time just to go. You had to go out in the winter, when it's cold, and here come a nigga with a coat on. He's still he gonna come and fuck it up for you. It comes down to raising your peoples, raising your babies, man, and changing the society, because we didn't let too many our babies be raised by these streets. And these niggas ain't got they ain't got no laws, they ain't got no codes, they ain't got no rules. is any fucking thing goes. And so when you got a group of motherfuckers and anything goes, anything goes. If you can get it where it don't matter where you at, motherfuckers come up in the church, they come up in the mosque, they come up anywhere. There's nothing to say. So at this point, you have to go to the root of society. And you have to, man, begin to educate your babies, man, to have the necessary morality and and being civil in a society. They didn't lost all civility. They're not civil. Just a straight up wild fucking west out here, man. You know what I'm saying? It is just straight up wild west, like back in the motherfucking cowboy and engines. You know what I'm saying? They, back in that day where they just shoot, a motherfucker just pull their guns out, just start shooting, shoot the town up, rob the town, and all of that. And so that's what they doing today. They've learned from generations. I know the generation that I came up in. Niggas was that's what they did. Lot of shooting, lot of shooting. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, just I mean, the trauma. You traumatized by that shit, and then it carried over. From them late 70s, 80s, 90s too. It's just just generations of niggas just shooting. Just relentlessly when shit. I remember when I was coming up, niggas had Uzis. You know what I'm saying? They had the band Uzis over in the United States. Man, niggas pull up with a Uzi and shit, and then just let it go. You know what I'm saying? Just let it go. You know what I'm saying? And you just kill him. I say, damn, man, what kind of world is we living in? And still to this day, you still traumatized, even though it's been, over damn, 40 years and shit. And still to this day, they still don't give a damn, just shooting and killing and, just lawlessness. And, this is this is how people act, over the course of these generations. And so all I could tell you is, man, and be on guard at all time. Just be on guard at all time, and and you hope that the police, and people say, talk shit, and it's a give and a take because people want to see some law somewhere out there, you want to see some law to deter people from doing shit like that. We just want the law to, be, abide by the law, and be fair, which is not gonna happen. So even there, but you at least got to see somebody out there to be able to stop these niggas or make them, because they'll get to shooting with the police out there. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. They'll light that shit up with the po-pos out there. But it's more unlikely that they will if they, you know what I'm saying? If it's enough of them out there, it's more unlikely that they won't, but they will. Some motherfuckers is just like that. They don't care. They'll just get the busing. So you just have to judge, if whatever festival or outing that is it worth it? Is it some security? If it's some security and maybe it ain't gonna be, but the festival, I don't think the festival had the wild niggas. I think the wild niggas was outside the festival. So they should be, it's just that you got to have the laws out there, man. Whatever you doing, and it's a mass gathering, the laws got to be out there. They got to be visibly out there. You know what I'm saying? Deter any type of, negative activity like that. And if it is, then enjoy yourself, because we can't let these motherfuckers run us up under the ground. But anyway, family, make sure you click the link top of the chat, get on over there, Patreon, man, we turning up over here. You feel what I'm saying? Mississippi Mound Builders, Children of the African Olmecs, also the Egyptian Dragon Morpheus and the Dream World. We tapping into the Black divinity, the esoteric understanding of our divinity, and I want y'all over there to get that word. Click the link, and I'll be black in just a second, family. See you in a minute. Black Power.